Hello and welcome to the Rugby Bricks 12 Weeks of Goal Kicking Performance Program. My name is Peter Breen, founder of Rugby Bricks, and throughout these 12 weeks I will be helping you understand all the little details behind your own goal kicking technique to give you that self-confidence when you're putting the ball on the tee. Over the past 10 years I've had a really big obsession with goal kicking, both as a player and now as a coach, and that helped me lead to develop the 10 pillars of goal kicking. I will take you through this 12-week program, get you really organised within your own technique and how you want to kick the ball, everything from your ball setup to your approach, your upper body, your rodeo arm, your foot and your hips, what position you want to get them into, so that you've got a really bulletproof technique. When the big moment comes, you're in a game, the crowd's cheering, you can get back to process thinking, execute every little thing in your process, which will help you become a really successful goal kicker. Throughout this program we will focus on other kicks as well, your spiral kick, your drop kick, punt kick when we're trying to get a little bit more punch behind it. Also when we're looking for elevation, height and hang time, how can we change our ball drop up to make sure we can execute all those different kicks. This program is weighted towards goal kicking and we are going to organise your goal kicking technique, but with all the little primer drills focusing on all those little details, all the little different touches on both rugby balls and soccer balls, you'll get a really good understanding of the position you need to get your body into to become a really good kicker. A really important part of this program is journaling and documenting your process throughout these 12 weeks. It was a game changer for me, understanding details, every conversation that I'd have with a coach, things that I'd be trying, different approaches, different ball setups, all the things that you will learn in this program. You'll be really organised after the 12 weeks. One thing I would really encourage you to do at the start of every week is watch the weekly videos. I've put them together so that you can see them visually. A lot of us like to learn by watching, by seeing other people do it. I've put a lot of effort into the videos, so make sure that you watch them, understand the cues, see them, take 15 minutes out of your day. That way when you get on the field you'll understand exactly what we're trying to execute. Plus then you'll also be able to get them in your journal, document them, get all those learnings in your book. Thank you so much for committing to this program. I know that if you get through the full 12 weeks, if you do all the kicking sessions, that by the end of the 12 weeks, you'll have huge self-confidence. And that is the most important thing when it comes to goal kicking. When you're putting the ball on the tee, you can trust your technique, trust your process, and just really back all those hours and hours documenting and have huge self-confidence within your goal kicking. Enjoy the Rugby Bricks 12-week goal kicking performance program. Hey guys, just finished up kicking session number 1. Now this very first week 1 video is a lot longer than the rest of them will be. There's a lot of details to get through. So this video will be slightly longer than the other weeks, and once we get into it, once we get rolling, these videos will become shorter and shorter because you guys are upskilling and understanding all of the drills. So enjoy week 1 video. Welcome to the Rugby Bricks 12 Weeks Goal Kicking Performance Program. Firstly, congratulations on committing to the quest to becoming a really good goal kicker and understanding all the little details and techniques that it takes to become a world-class kicker. Each week you'll be able to check in on this video. This video is going to be a really cool way for you to stay on top of the details, the focus for the week, and what's really important and what we're trying to execute with the drills that we have in that specific week. Throughout the program you will have the same focus point for a 2-week block. So over the 12 weeks there'll be 6 different blocks that we focus on and have a real attention for detail for. All these goal kicking sessions can be done using the resources you have available. So whether that's using a net or going down to the field and using goalposts, using a partner, a teammate, mums and dads can all help you through this 12-week journey. One thing that I would suggest is having a bag of 5 rugby balls plus 1 soccer ball. So we are going to use the soccer ball in drills to help get feel and touch. We'll talk about that more during the program. But for a start, if you can get your hands on more than just the 1 rugby ball, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the sessions even more. The expectation is that you'll get through the same session 3 times. So week 1 session, you'll get through this session 3 times this week. This way you'll be able to feel the drills, learn how to do them better, understand the specific techniques that we're focusing on, and throughout the week really progress your goal kicking technique. I think I always enjoyed that as a kicker, having the ability to learn a drill, go away and think about it, sleep on it. When I come back the next day, I'm able to execute it a lot better. That's why I'm giving you the opportunity to get through each focus week 3 times. Further to that point, make sure that you're recording your sessions in your Rugby Bricks goal kicking diary. Now this here is the 10 pillars of goal kicking diary, where you'll be able to record all these sessions, all the little details, your learnings, what you're feeling, how the sessions are going, and really just document down in here all the things that are really important to your technique. Remember, the whole focus of this program is to build your technique, not copy someone else. That's why having a diary like the Rugby Bricks 10 pillars of goal kicking diary is going to be a really resourceful tool for you throughout this program. You'll find throughout the program that we're not just goal kicking. We're doing a lot of priming drills, working on techniques and balance and ball drops and strikes on the foot. The reason we do this is because of muscle memory. I want to give your foot and body the most opportunities it has to feel different strikes on the rugby ball. Remember, when we're goal kicking and we understand our foot and the position and the type of strike that we got on the ball, we can have quick fixes in understanding why we're kicking well or what it is we need to change within our goal kicking session or in games to be more successful. Another fun tool that we'll be using is a soccer ball. Now this gives you great read on the ball. Every time you're striking the ball along the ground, kicking out a hand of the soccer ball, you can see the direct reflection of how you've struck that ball coming out and how it's moving along the ground to your partner or into the net. For the first 2 weeks, we are focusing on our ball setup. Now for me, this is a task that we can do 100% every time we put our ball on our Rugby Bricks kicking tee. Let's go into a little bit more detail about ball setup. So that I can give you guys a little bit more detail, I have got a second camera set up to my right. Now every time I'm speaking about where I'm aiming directly for this camera lens right there. So that's what my target line from where I'm setting up my ball. The first point I'm going to talk about is this ball valve. Now on most match balls, you do find it in the seam of the rugby ball, and we want to have that sitting directly in the middle of the ball. The reason being is this valve does have weight. It's a built-in bladder that surrounds the bladder, but it is the heaviest part of that inside bladder of the rugby ball. So if we have that sitting in the middle of our ball, it just means that the ball's going to rotate around that axis and fly a little bit straighter and truer. Now you may think this is a really small detail, but as you get more consistent and grow your kicking technique, it does have a big effect. And also it's just another step to the process that we can control, so we might as well control it with where we're putting this ball valve seam. I always like to have the ball valve facing straight down. That way when I was standing at my back of my mark, I didn't see the valve. I knew that it was at the front of the ball and leading towards wanting to kick the ball. Sometimes the question does come up, okay Pete, well what if the ball valve is in the side of the ball? So sometimes on other balls you'll see the valve in the middle. I would then in that case have the valve on the way that my natural ball flight goes. So if my natural ball flight is from right over to left, then I'd have that valve sitting on the left side of the ball. That way it's helping and assisting me curve the ball and fly the ball exactly how I want to fly it. So for this 12-week goal kicking program, I want you to focus on using the same tee throughout the program. One kicking tee I've got here is a low one, and I've also got a slightly higher kicking tee where we set the ball up a little bit differently. Now I'm going to talk about the two differences between those two tees. The first kicking tee I'm going to talk through is the RB Wolf, so a low style kicking tee. So as you can see here, I've got my ball valve facing you guys where I'm targeting. If I now change my target, so I'm just kicking to the left here, so off to the microphone, you can see that we've got this big beautiful sweet spot up the back of the ball. Now on the Gilbert logo, it's around about where that eye is the height that you should be making contact with your foot knuckle. So we want to come in here and make a big hard contact around about a third of the way up the ball. Around about that eye is where we're wanting trying to strike the ball. We then shift to a higher kicking tee like the RB Vortex mid-cut. Again, I've got my ball valve at the bottom, but as we turn this ball sideways, so now I'm kicking towards the microphone, we actually want to be hitting more up the end of the ball. So like an out of hand kick, we can get that big base of the ball, that nice hard cross on the bottom of the ball, and make impact up there. That's the sweet spot we're trying to make contact with. So we get all those seams to look at, that nice hardest part of the ball, which is generally why when you use a slightly higher tee and have this style of ball setup, you can get a little bit more distance because you're hitting a slightly harder part of the ball where those seams meet. On your foot knuckle, you're going to get a nice harder strike, which sometimes gives you a little bit more distance. But again, goal kicking is very unique. Whatever way you can strike the ball well and the most consistent is the style of tee that you should be using. The last point on your ball setup is what your seams are doing, and I'm going to use my ruler to explain this point. So as you can see here, I'm lined up, I'm aiming directly at you guys in that lens. You can see here that both my seams, so this bottom seam and the top seam, are lined up pretty straight. So that ruler is pretty much straight up and down. You can see here now that if I roll those seams in, so I'm still aiming directly, I've got my ball facing the exact same way. You can see now that my ruler is on slightly more angle, so the bottom seam and the top seam is now falling away to the left. The other opposite way of doing that is falling to the right. So again, my ball's still facing directly at you guys, but you can see there that my ruler, the angle that it's on, is now facing to the right. So how I'd suggest this is, if you've got a natural ball flight, so for me it was from my right side to my left side, I'd always have the ball seams just turning slightly towards the way that I wanted the ball to go. So for my ball setup, if I'm aiming directly at you guys, that's pretty much straight up and down. I would just have my ball slightly tilted so that it would help my ball flight. So when it comes to setting your ball up consistently, I want you guys to now start thinking about, yes, your ball valve, the angle of the ball, and also how your seams are looking. So if we can make that consistent every time, we're going to be striking the ball a lot more consistent off the tee. The same thing does apply when using a low kicking tee. As you can see here, my seams are basically straight up and down. If you do like to expose that sweet spot and have the ball rolling out, just make sure that you're getting those seams looking exactly how you want. So rather than setting the ball up on this angle and then that angle and then a little bit shallower, just make sure that you're consistent with how you're setting your ball up and make sure those seams are looking the same every time you're kicking the ball. And just to wrap up, I want to cover off those points again on why your ball setup is so important. We want to try and create the same ball flight every kick that we take off the tee. If our ball setup's the exact same, we're exposing that sweet spot. When we're standing at the back of the mark, we can be really confident coming into that ball that we're going to get a nice strike. Having the ball valve in the same place gives us the peace of mind that our ball's set up perfectly. Every little detail that we have in our ball setup is adding to our goal kicking process, and that's going to help us stay in process mindset. So when it gets into a big moment, the crowd's cheering, I have to make this kick, instead of being nervous and shaking and not knowing what my process is, so if I've got details, those are little tasks that I can tick off. The crowd might be giving it all to me and really trying to get in my head. I can think about my details, my valve, my ball setup, where I want the Gilbert sitting, what logo I want facing me on my ball setup, and it just helps me stay really internal and focused so that I can execute the task and get a successful kick. Right, that's enough chat about ball setup. At the end of this week, I really want you to have a good understanding and have a list of things you do within your ball setup, and every time we're putting that ball on the tee, it is the exact same at a 100%. Let's now take a look at what week 1 looks like on the field. Hey guys, welcome to week 1 of the Rugby Bricks 12-week goal kicking performance program. We are down here at the field. As you can see, this is my net that's down at my local field, which I'm going to use for this kicking program. Plus I've also got goalposts. If you don't have goalposts available, that is not a problem. I've spent many of years kicking at trees, kicking at bushes, kicking at light poles, so you can make do and make this 12-week program work. Before we get started, there is going to be no mobility or stretching that I'm going to give you guys to do. Throughout your career, you're going to have to figure out how your body's feeling. If you've had a massive game and you're really sore, you might have to spend slightly longer that week getting the body ready for the kicking session. So find what stretches work for you. There's plenty out there on the internet that you can find to really come up with a warm-up and stretching routine that's going to get you ready for your kicking sessions moving forward. With that said, let's get straight into the drills for week 1. So the first drill we're doing is kicking the ball into our net or to a partner, and we're kicking the ball from different heights. So with our ball drop, we're going to start down at 1, so hitting the ball nice and low to the ground. Then we'll hit the ball up at 2, and then we'll hit the ball up at 3. So think about that 1 kick, punching the ball, wanting the ball to roll out into touch. When we're kicking up at 2, we're looking for distance, hang time, getting the ball downfield. And when we're kicking up at 3, it's a contestable high kick, almost like your box kick, or when we're wanting other players or another teammates to chase the ball, we can kick that ball up at 3. So those are the 3 kicks we're going to use. We're going to start down at position 1 and then work our way up. So the first kick we're going to do is kicking down at 1. Now before we get into that, I want to talk about your ball drop. So with your ball drop, I like to have my right hand, because I'm a right foot kicker, slightly lower on the ball, because what we're going to do is take our ball from our midline and then drop it on my hip line. So anytime we're dropping these balls, start the ball on your midline, so the middle of my body, so about waist height, and then when we push the ball out, we're dropping it on my hip line. That's where I'm big and strong and going to make contact with the ball. So remember, our first set of 10 is down at number 1. I'm going to be standing on 1 foot, so nice and balanced here. I'm looking for a punch kick and hitting it nice and low on my hip line. Ball in 2 hands, standing on 1 foot, nice and balanced. Hit the ball nice and low, driving through. Now on each of these, as you build your momentum, I'm looking for that hop on that plant foot. So as we're standing on this 1 foot, make impact, and I want you to finish your job with your leg on every kick that we do throughout this whole 12-week program. We finish the job. So if that means that we come out and hop, that's absolutely fine. For these standing drills, we're standing on 1 leg. So standing on 1 leg, ball in 2 hands, right hand is slightly lower, nice and balanced, driving the ball. So as you can see, I'm getting that nice hard low kick that we're doing down at that 1 ball drop. Last one, 1 foot, nice and balanced, punch. So as we get through the program, we will work on both your weak and non-dominant foot. For a start for this first week, we're just focusing on that 1 leg that we're trying to get really confident. So whatever foot you kick the ball with, usually with your goal kicking, we're just going to start there and build our way up. So kick number 2 now. Remember, we're not so low to the ground. Give ourselves a little bit more height and hang time. This style of kick is when we're trying to get elevation but really good distance on the kick. So you'll see me hit slightly higher up. Again, nice and balanced, ball in 2 hands. 2 hands to 1 hand on that hip line, a little bit higher. As you can see, the ball flight is a little bit higher. The target and the distance, all I'm aiming for is just the net, or if I'm kicking to a partner, to my partner, whatever distance is right for you at the moment. 2 hands to 1 hand. Slightly hit the inside of my foot. So on all these kicks, just feel how you're making contact with the ball, what type of strike you're getting. 2 hands to 1 hand. Nice high follow through. So we've done our ball drop 1 kick, we've done our ball drop 2 kick. Now we're going into ball drop 3. So a little bit more height and hang time, a higher strike point. So instead of making contact down here, we're letting our leg get through it nice and strong and powerful and hitting slightly higher. Again, we're balanced on 1 foot, we're nice and stable. Push that ball up nice and high. Nice little raise of the ball and a big high strike. Good strike. Start in your midline, push the ball out to your hip line. 3 kick, hitting nice and high. Last one, 2 hand, high hit. So the whole purpose and why I'm so big on those 3 drills and the different ball drops is in a game, we might need to use a different style of kick. If I'm on the run and I see an opportunity to put the ball through, find a corner, get the ball to roll out, I want to drop the ball down to 1, get on it a little bit earlier and get that ball and punch behind it. On the flip side, we're wanting to put up a contestable kick. I know in my head, sweet, that's ball drop 3, put it up at 3, get some height and hang time. So now all we're doing with the progression is now adding in a small approach or run up to the ball. I'm going to talk a lot about 30 degrees throughout this 12-week program, because I think 30 degrees when you're kicking out of hand is the most powerful position that we can come from. So we get our extension out the back, those natural angles sit really well at 30 degrees, and I'll explain more now. So if I'm kicking into the net and I wanted to take a straight run up, with my ball drop, my natural leg swing wants to turn around the corner here, and then when I make impact, the natural thing my leg wants to do is come across my body. So you end up with a bit of an arc shape and you're not able to hold a straight follow through. So what we're going to do is, if I'm kicking from here, usually on standing, all I'm going to do is just take myself back on that 30-degree angle, come into the ball, make a strong impact, and as you can see, my leg can naturally stay a little bit straighter in that follow through. So that's all the drill is. So now we just give ourselves 30 degrees from where we want to kick from. We're doing a set at ball drop 1, ball drop 2 and ball drop 3. This here is ball drop 1, nice and low to the ground. Same principles apply, kick from your hip line, ball drop 1, nice low hard punch. Hit the outside of my foot a little bit there. That's why we're doing the drills. 30 degrees, ball drop 1, nice low hard punch. That was a slightly better strike on the ball. Last one, ball drop 1, 30 degrees, get a nice punch on it. Probably my best one. We've done our set of 10 now down at ball drop 1, so now we go up to ball drop 2. Should see a little bit more height and hang time. So this is that exit kick. I want to get my team downfield and get a heaps of distance, a little bit of hang time, but distance is the main outcome. So let's give ourselves a little bit of room up at ball drop 2. Good ball set up, right hand lower than the left, 2 hands to 1 hand, push it out. Nice strike. Again, enjoy that follow through, get through the ball, 30 degrees, don't mind what that looks like. Good strike. Big hard foot up the back of the ball, coming in 30 degrees. And to finish this set of 3, now we're up at ball drop 3. So my team's wanting me to put up a contestable, maybe we've got a good chase line, nice high ball drop, follow through up. Instead of that follow through being so much about getting forward through the ball, think about having an up follow through. So once we make impact, my body actually goes up with the ball and with the strike where we want it to. Same thing, the big focus here is 30 degrees, come in, ball drop 3, get up. .30 degrees, good hand placement, and all those kicks are getting up nice and high. And now we're getting into our drop kick set. So this is the last set before we get out there and get on the tee. So this is all about drop kicks, and the 30 degree approach still applies. It's the exact same approach that we want. Once we've dropped this ball, I want you to get on the ball nice and quick. So rather than that ball getting too high, once we've actually done our ball drop, get on it nice and quick, because we're looking for that nice punch behind the ball, just like if we were taking a shot, getting the ball back, taking a snap drop goal in a game. We want to get on it quick and get that ball traveling with good punch behind it. So same rules apply, 30 degrees, I'm going to get a nice ball drop, get on it nice and quick and get some good punch behind it. Okay, strike. Get on it nice and quick, get that punch behind it, 30 degrees. Same ball drop, 1 hand up the back of the ball, 2 hand to 1 hand. Snapped at that ball a little bit. Again, we want to learn off every ball that we kick, we want to learn from. So just got to round it, wrap that ball a little bit. Nice ball drop, get on it quick. Good snap. So now we're into the last 12 kicks of this kicking session. I am going to kick up against the net, but luckily down here we have got goalposts to kick at, so I'll show you both variations. Firstly, when you're kicking at a net, it's really good to find a center point or a pole to kick at, which is what we've got. So, like what we spoke about at the start of this video, I've nailed my ball setup, all those little details, seam, the gilbert, the valve, is all spot on for how I want to kick the ball. So my whole focus here is flying the ball down that right channel. So I want to be hitting just to the right of that black pole, which is directly in line with my ball. So anything to the right's good. So the reason we do this is once I've made impact with the ball, I want the ball to stay down the right channel and then start fading to the left. We don't want to get a hook on it. We also don't want to slice and push the ball. So right channel kicking is all about going down the right channel of the goalpost, or here just to the right of that black pole. So let's see how we go. Stay slow, trust my timing, just to the right of that black pole. So as you can see, I pushed it a little bit, but I was to the right of that pole, which is really good. So I'll try another ball now and get a little bit straighter. And as you can see there, that ball started to go left a little bit too early. That's why we're doing this drill. One really cool thing that I did learn from doing this drill was when my balls weren't as pumped up as usual, my foot was staying on the ball for slightly longer, which meant I was pulling everything. So it's really important that you're kicking with pumped up balls that feel really good, just like your match balls. It's feeling good. They're just staying out to the right a little bit too much. So whenever my balls were staying right too much, it was because I was leaving my hips this direction for too long. I've got to really focus it on impact, of getting those hips through and a little bit square on impact. So on this kick, I'm going to try to just get those hips coming through a little bit quicker on impact. Just to the right of that black pole, stay slow, trust my timing. That was better. So if you guys are lucky enough to have posts to kick at, this is the right channel drill, same as what we just did on the net. So as you can see, my ball seams are actually pointing down about a metre in from that right upright. So if I execute this kick absolutely perfectly, my ball setup I'm happy with, Gilbert's on the right side, ball valve down, all those things we've talked about. So if I execute this kick perfectly, I should see the ball travel through the right channel, so black dot, that right channel, travel down there, and then once it's gone through the post, drift back to the middle of the post. See if we can nail this for you guys. Stay slow, trust my timing, stay down that right channel. That's exactly what I want. So why do we do this? What's the reason why it's really good to get a right channel kicking? So if you're a right foot kicker with a natural right to left, just like that, right to left, if I hit that ball and it stays dead straight, the ball goes over. If I get my natural ball flight, it starts in the right channel, then drifts back to the middle. If I do get a little hook on it, it just means that the ball does hook, but it just sneaks in on that left upright. So that's why we get really consistent at that right channel drill, how you kick the ball, your ball flight, fall in love with how it feels, how it flies, and you'll become a really accurate goal kicker. That's it. Really enjoy kicking session number 1. You've got to get through this 3 times this week. Week number 2 on field, and we're bringing in the soccer ball. I love using them in sessions. We'll get into a little bit more on this soon. So make sure again that you've done your mobility, done your stretching. It's really important that you give yourself 10-15 minutes of all those little drills, stretches, things you need to do to get yourself ready to kick. Do not overlook that part. Make sure you warm up. Why do we use a soccer ball? For me, this thing makes kicking really fun. So if you're kicking with a partner, mum, dad, teammate, another coach, it just means that you can get a lot of touches really quickly using a soccer ball. We're training our body to kick, so anytime we're making contact, we're feeling, we're reading whether we've hit it well, sliced it, the inside of our foot, giving ourselves feedback every time, and that's how we're going to develop. The other cool thing is it's really easy to teach your weak foot how to kick. So instead of having to worry about the rugby ball, how we're dropping it, getting that part right, we can have this beautiful, perfect round ball that we can drop down to our off foot, whatever foot we're trying to kick off, and make sure we're getting a nice strike. Let's jump into the drills this week for the session. So first up, we're starting with our one leg drill again. So remember that we're going to be standing on one foot nice and balanced. This knee isn't locked up, so make sure that this plant foot is actually nice and soft. You want to be balanced and be able to come through out of it. If we're hard and locked up, we just get stuck on this plant foot and generally our hips go backwards. Whereas if we're soft, we can be nice and positive and actually get out of the kick and get momentum going forward. So anytime you're standing on one leg throughout this program and moving forward, make sure that that plant leg's nice and soft. First drill, we're nice and soft, so I'm just using a net. Using a brick wall is really good with this, or if you're kicking with a partner, even better. Remember our hand placement, 2 hands to 1 hand on the ball drop, 2 hands to 1 hand from my midline to my hip line. All we're doing is getting this ball rolling just like we do when we grubber the ball. So again, 2 hands to 1 hand, get that ball rolling and chase your kick. So as you're doing these grubbers, make sure that you are feeling how you're hitting it. Make sure you've got a target, even if you want to put a drink bottle or a cone down that you're trying to hit. But just feel whether the ball's coming off the side of your foot, the inside of your foot. We want to get up the back of this ball and hit it with a nice square foot on that foot knuckle. So this week we are working on our non-dominant foot. It's the first time we're doing this in this program. So remember, with your ball drop, if I'm usually a right footer, I go midline to right hip. Now I'm going midline to left hip, pushing that ball out and making a nice strike on that hip line. Let's see how it looks. Balance, and now I'm on my right foot, nice soft knee, 2 hand to 1 hand, push it out. And as you can see, my first strike was a little bit ugly, hit the inside of my foot, and that's why it's such a good tool, using the soccer ball to build your weak foot. Come on, let's go nice and straight. 2 hand to 1 hand. Nice, that was a lot better. Got that ball rolling. Plus I was up the back of the ball, nice and straight. Our progression now is adding in that 30 degrees. You guys will remember the 30-degree rule from last session in week 1. So now what we do with the grubber, still with the soccer ball, is come in 30 degrees. Same thing, get that ball rolling, nice hard foot up the back of the ball. This ball is going to give us feedback. So I'm going to offset myself, come in 30 degrees, hit, and then carry on after the ball. Really good start. So we've got 20 each foot. So I went right foot. Now I do the other side left foot. So offset myself 30 degrees, come in, nice hard hit, and get that ball rolling. Such a good way. The grub is such a good kick for playmakers, first fives, number 10s, 12s, fullbacks, because as that defence line comes up and we want to put the ball through, it's really good to be able to go off my left foot or my right foot, depending on what the defence is giving me. Soccer ball, such a great way to build this into your game. Straight into the next drill, so 30 degrees drop kicks with the soccer ball. This one really does give you feedback, especially if you've dropped it out too far and you get that slice. I love using the soccer ball just to prime up for this. So 30 degrees, same ball drop, 2 hands to 1 hand, get on it early. Good strike. That one felt really good. Straight away I'll have a couple of these. One of our big focuses here is actually making contact with the ball and continuing on. It doesn't mean that I want you to quickly hit the ball and then get your foot straight back down to ground. I want you to hit the ball, let that foot come through, but still get your momentum going forward. So nice hit, finish the job with your leg, then get it down to the ground. 30 degrees, 2 hands to 1 hand, push it out. You can see there I got that little slice. That's why we love the soccer ball. 30 degrees, 2 hands, 2 hand to 1 hand. Got inside that one a little bit. So I've had one go right, I've had one go left. Let's see if we can finish with a straight one. 30 degrees, get on it early. There we go. Just done our drop kicks with our soccer ball. Now we're progressing on with the rugby ball into drop kicks. We don't want to load up these sessions too much with too many kicks. We are going to build our kicking endurance with reps. So for a start, we are just starting with our dominant foot getting through these strikes. So we go straight in to 30-degree drop kicks. So exactly the same as the soccer ball. Now we have to nail our ball drop, get that right. So all those good things. My right hand's slightly lower than my left. It's how I like to hold the rugby ball. We want a straight up and down ball drop, and I want to get on it nice and early, just like the soccer ball. Let's go. So 30 degrees, get on it nice and early, come in. Good start. Remember, we don't just want a quick hit and then get down to the ground. We want to hit, finish the job with our foot, and then get our follow through and momentum happening. 30 degrees, come in, good strike. Good strike. So what is the focus of today's session in week 1 and 2? It's our ball setup. So make sure you've got your ball set up. I've got my Gilbert on the side, I like it. I've got my valve down. If you're using a different brand of ball, whatever it is, just make sure that you're setting throughout this whole 12-week program the ball up the exact same. It just adds to the process. Make sure you're nailing the little steps it takes to become a really good kicker. Right, all 10 of these kicks down that right channel. Let's get a nice strike and start well. So you've had your 10 kicks from over in the middle, you're getting that ball going down the right channel. Now we want the same principle applied but from the 15s. Now yes, if there's wind, if there's things you've got to allow for, you have to, but on a day like today where there's no wind, I want to start that ball again down that right channel. The ball flight will take care of itself. One other thing I'd highly recommend when you're kicking from these 15-metre lines is I never used to like putting my tee on a line. Visually, when I was setting at my back of the mark, if the tee was on a line, it just meant I was uncomfortable, it just didn't feel right. So I always, even if the penalty was on the 15-metre line, I'd just take it away from it, just so that I'm kicking from green grass, heaps of space. Same principle, let's put this down the right channel, stay slow, trust my timing. So similar principle when it comes to this side of the field as well. I never put my tee on a line. I didn't want my body close to the 22-metre line either. So let's nail our ball setup. We've had 10 from the middle, 5 from the right, and now I'm into my last 5 from the left side of the field. So for me, that right channel is still the focus here. So trusting myself that my ball flight will bring the ball back just to the right of the black dot is my target here. Kicking away from lines, same thing, good strike. One thing I tend to do, and you guys might find, is from this side of the field, this was the side I'd always leave my kicks over there, coming in, pushing the kicks, right? So I'd always tell myself, trust my body, get my hips behind the ball, and get the ball going to the post. Just make sure your angles are the same, feel like you're up the back of the ball, get your strike, stay slow, trust my timing. Pulled it a touch, but just snuck in. So that's week 2. Make sure on week 2 sessions that you are going through, take advantage of all these reps, all these learning opportunities. I don't really want you to do more and extra kicks in your kicking session. Just do what's required. There's going to be plenty of time for us to build up more reps, bigger sessions, and you'll get your chance to get even more kicks. Last thing, make sure for the whole week 1 and week 2, you have got these recorded in your journal. Don't think you're going to catch up these thoughts, because in a couple of weeks, all these learnings, all these thoughts will be out of your head. So after every kicking session in your journal, make sure you're writing out these kicking sessions. Hey guys, welcome to week number 3. We're down here at the field, the sun is shining, perfect morning for kicking. Make sure before we get into the session that you have done your running, your mobility, your stretching, everything that you need to do to get ready for this kicking session. Look after those hip flexors, those groins, those adductors, all those little things. Make sure you are warming up really well for the session. Today's focus, and also week 3 and 4, is all about our approach, how much energy we're taking to the ball, what angle we're coming in from, how many steps back, how many to the side, all those little things. So by the end of week 3 and 4, you guys will have a really good understanding, a lot of good learnings around your personal approach to the ball. Before we get started, I'm going to play a video from our 10 pillars of goal kicking video. This gives a lot more detail about approach and what you need to think of when it comes to making your own approach. Quite often when we're approaching and we tuck my shoulders under and get on a big angle, I've got to try fix this in my follow through and often can't get things going through to targets. So now we're into pillar number 4, which is all about our approach to the ball. So we quite often see kickers on TV, your Dan Carters, Johnny Wilkinsons. They've got really unique things within their kicking technique. When you're starting out, you've got to start really simple and feel what's going to work for you. So for me, whenever I'm starting out with a kicker, I always get them on 45 degrees. So hence why I've set up just on this cross so you can see the 45 degrees. For a start with my body, well, I want to have everything at the back of the ball. So starting with my feet at the back of the ball, hips at the back of the ball, chest and head, everything focused. That way, as I'm coming into the ball, there's no angles that I've got to try fix when it comes to my kicking technique. Quite often when we're approaching and we tuck my shoulders under and get on a big angle, I've got to try fix this in my follow through and often can't get things going through to target. So keep things really simple for a start: feet, hips, chest, head, everything coming into the ball at the back of the ball. So quite often with our approach in games, we actually change how we approach the ball. So especially at the start of the game where we've got heaps of energy, we're quite excited, sometimes we take a really quick first step. What will happen if I'm big here, once I get to the ball, I'm going to be really crowded and not be able to get through my full range of my kicking technique. So for me, it was something that I had to try work out. For me, this first step was really slow and really small. It just meant that once I got to the ball, everything, my plant foot, and I had enough room to use my full kicking technique to get through the ball. So just be really aware, whatever you're doing at whatever stage in the game, that first step is really consistent. If you nail that first step, everything else will be consistent. That's the video, team. Let's get into the very first drill, which is practicing our walk back and making sure we're making that really consistent. For our first drill we're getting through today, you are going to need a little cone, a drink bottle, a shoe, whatever you can do just to mark on the ground. So how this works is 10 times we're going to go from the ball and do our approach. So for me, it was 4 steps back on the 45 degree angle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll take a little instep. And then from here, so this is where I need to get to start my approach. I'm going to put the kicking tee or the cone behind my right foot that you can see there. Now we're going to try and get to that exact same spot again. So keep your eyes facing forward at the ball from that starting point. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take my little instep, get across, and that is really consistent. Now just to show you a few different variables about why we're doing this. End of the game, I'm really tired, I don't have much energy, and I take small steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a little bit lazy, didn't have much intent to me. Take my instep. You can see the distance that that's created in my approach, which is going to make it really inconsistent when I get to the ball. The opposite of that, I'm really excited. The crowd's cheering. I've just scored an amazing try. I get all excited and go 1, 2, 3, 4. I really want to smack this ball. Take my instep, and now I'm over a foot away from where I need to be. So that's why we're using this cone drill, just to really train into your body the feel of your steps, the distance, the energy, the angle that you need to be on is going to be made really consistent by doing these 10 reps. So you've got to do this at the start of every session this week. The first kick that we are doing is our grubber kick, such a great attacking weapon. A little bit of detail. So for this set, we are going to be standing on the one leg to start off, so be nice and balanced. With this grubber, we want to have the ball on about 45-degree angle. So when I hit the top of this ball, we're knocking the top off and getting that ball rolling nice and forward. Hand placement, so again, if a right foot grubber, my right hand slightly lower, my 2 hand to 1 hand principle, so 2 hands to 1 hand so that it can stay in this right hand for slightly longer, and we're kicking from my right hip line. Midline, 2 hands to 1 hand, kicking from my right hip line, getting that ball rolling. So this is how it looks. Start with my right foot for a start, 2 hands to 1 hand, nice and balanced. Get that ball rolling into the net. 45-degree ball. We are just starting with the straight up and down ball, so rather than trying to turn the ball or get the ball to turn back to a corner, that's grubbers that we'll get to. We're starting with the straight up and down grubber where we just want it to go directly straight in front of us. Getting into left-footed grubbers now, so with my hand placement, I want my left hand slightly lower from doing a left foot kick. Ball's going to start in my midline and we're going to push it out until my hip line. So midline out into my left hip line to make contact. Want to hit that 45-degree angle again. Nice and balanced pre-kick, push it out, get that ball rolling. You can start nice and easy with these, you don't have to be kicking the ball too hard. Push it out, get that ball rolling. Last one. Momentum through after the kick. Next exercise is our 30-degree drop kick. So same as last week, we want to set ourselves on 30 degrees and get on this ball nice and quick. Focus on finishing the job and then getting your foot back down to ground, but take momentum through forward. So get through your set on your right foot, and now I'm going to force you guys to work on your non-dominant foot. So you might get a couple of really ugly drop kicks here, but as you build through this program, you will get consistency. Just stick with it. So 30 degrees for my left foot, same thing. I want to put the ball, my left hand slightly lower for this ball drop. You may be thinking, why do I need to work on my left foot? I think it's just such a valuable tool to have if a coach is putting you up against another player and you can kick off both feet. That's a massive asset to have. So make sure you get through these left foot reps. Next kick after the drop kicks is our punt kick. We want to be hitting these up at ball drop 2. So remember ball drop, so that's 1, 2 and 3. We want to be hitting these at 2. So this is the big distance, big hang time, like your exit kick in rugby. So same thing with your approach. Want to be back on 30 degrees, nice strike, finish the job, momentum through. Ball drop, midline to hip line. For the purpose of this, I'll just go straight to the left foot. So you guys got to sit on your right, sit on your left. Same thing though with this left foot, 30-degree approach, ball drop 2. We are now getting into our spiral kick. We're going back to standing on one leg. This is the first time we've done spiral, so let's get nice and balanced and just focus on the strike and the ball drop. The ball detail, so if that's 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, what we want to have is 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock if I'm a right foot kicker. The other thing too is we're just going to have the nose of the ball slightly down. The reason being is as my foot comes through and make contact, my foot's actually going to help raise the ball and get that nice ball flight to start that spiral effect. So 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock, have that nose of the ball slightly down. The main thing we have to focus on is still kicking through the ball. We don't want to try and create the spiral effect, that natural ball drop. The way we make contact, the ball will spiral. Here's how it looks. So set of 3, we're going to be standing on that one foot again, going to get my ball set up perfectly. So 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock, nose slightly down. Same thing, midline to my hip line to make contact along that foot line. Let's get a nice strike. Good start, so that little spiral effects happen straight away. 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock. As you can see, the ball's staying in my right hand for slightly longer than my left hand. That's why we do the midline and push the ball into that hand. So we've just done our spiral kick standing. Now we just add the 30-degree approach. So nothing changes, same ball drop, same everything, nose down. Let's get a nice strike. So approach, want to be hitting that ball down around 2, probably closer to 1, so get on it relatively early, especially for these. We just want momentum and a nice strike. Good, you see that spiral effect happen straight away. We are just looking for that nice punch, get that ball spiraling 30 degrees. Go one more. So you'll find that your nose wants to get away on you. Just make sure that it does stay at that 11 o'clock. That's what happened on that last kick. That was better. You will find that with those spiral kicks, you'll get really good feedback on how you're striking the ball. Sometimes your nose will get too low, you might slice it off the side of the boot, you might get inside the ball. Spiral kicks are a really good way to really start striking the ball really true. From there we can progress it, we can get high spirals, long spirals, nice short and darty ones that do roll into touch. So it's a really good asset for you to have in your arsenal. We're out on the field now we're into some goal kicking. So now we're into our 12 right channel kicks. Remember that this distance needs to be something that you're really comfortable with. This drill is all about ball flight, controlling the ball and understanding how it's flying. Now your approach plus your ball setup is going to have a lot of detail in your goal kicking technique. So make sure you set yourself at a distance that you're happy with and comfortable with. So for me, 30 meters is great for this drill. So with your approach, remember we want to have the same energy every time we are taking our step backs. For me, this visually feels really good. So every time I want to be really deliberate with my steps, stay slow, trust my timing, put this ball down that right channel. Hopefully we'll see it draw back to that black dot in the middle of the post. Stayed out there to the right, which is fine. Ball stays straight, ball still goes over. So on all these 12 kicks today, please make sure that your ball setup is spot on. Make sure that your steps within your approach is the same energy, the same distance. If you do have a small step back, same thing, just make sure that's consistent, the distance, how fast you're doing it, just so that every time we're arriving at the ball, we're getting the same feeling, the same energy. That's the session, team. Make sure you guys really enjoy week 3. Keep working hard, keep making sure you're documenting all these learnings. I want you to write down what your approach is, how many steps, the angle, all those little details that are really important to your approach. Week number 4, here we go. So if you are someone who hasn't written anything in your journal already for this 12-week program, you have to make sure that you pause this video, you go and get your diary, you get some notes, you're tracking all your sessions, you're making sure that your ball setup details in there, your approach from last week, all those little details are in there. Please do not go through this 12-week program and not write anything down on paper. It's a waste of learning, and trust me, you're going to regret not getting all these learnings down on paper in your brain as you're writing them out. It is seriously so important. Let's get started into week 4. Now, before we get started, make sure that you have done your mobility, your stretching, go for a run, make sure the blood is pumping. Hopefully the sun is shining where you guys are so you can get through this week 4 kicking session. Starting off with our soccer ball, again, we are starting on one leg. So again, nice and balanced. You guys will be really good at this drill by now. So standing on one leg, nice and balanced, soft knee, 2 hand to 1 hand, pushing that grubber through, hitting the ball nice and straight. After we've got through our grubbers off each foot, we're getting into our drop kick. So we're just adding in our little 30-degree approach. So wanting to get on this ball nice and early, get that nice hard hit up the back of the ball. We are doing these grubbers off both feet. I really enjoy doing soccer ball drop kicks. They really help with my consistency. After the drop kicks with the soccer ball, we are going back to the grubber. I do want you to start adding in little movements like a dummy before you grubber the ball. So you can catch the ball, dummy, and then start putting through the grubber. They start to make them really game and a little bit more realistic as you're getting through the grubbers. Same off both feet, really good tool to be able to push the ball through, get chasing players on. So a little catch, dummy, 30 degrees, build up that grubber. Now we're getting into our rugby ball kicking drills, so we're just going to work our way up. So standing, ball drop 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to bring in the 30-degree approach and go ball drop 1, 2, and 3. So you've got 10 kicks at each. I'm just going to demonstrate one kick at each. So first kick standing is our ball drop 1, which is nice and low to the ground. Should see really good punch behind it. 2 hands to 1 hand, kick from your hip line, all those really good things. So kick number 1, set 1 is ball drop 1. Good punch behind that. Then we go to ball drop 2, so we're looking for a little bit more distance. We're going to hit the ball slightly higher, stay nice and tall, ball drop 2. Then we go up to ball drop 3 for our set of 10 up at ball drop 3, so should see this ball get nice and high, just like a contestable kick where you're wanting to put height and hang time on the kick. Ball drop 3, stay nice and tall. So those are the 3 kicks from standing. Now we add in our 30-degree approach. So same things, I'm going to start down at ball drop 1, so 30-degree approach, get good punch behind this one. 2 hands to 1 hand, kick from your hip. Felt like I got a really nice strike on that. Now we go up to ball drop 2 for our second set of 10. Distance, exit kick styles, get the ball downfield. You see that I got a little bit more height and trajectory on that. Now I'm putting up the nice high contestable, ball drop 3, coming into the ball, getting some nice height and hang time. So on all those rugby ball kicks that you will have just got through, I got that through pretty quickly just to demonstrate. There's plenty of opportunity for learning. Make sure you're getting your ball drop right. If you are feeling like the ball's landing on the outside of your boot, make that small adjustments. Make sure we're not kicking from our midline if we are dropping the ball straight in front of us. Funny things happen with our knee and our foot, so make sure we are pushing the ball out to our hip line. It's where we're going to get nice strikes. So there's 60 kicks throughout those rugby ball kicks, whether you're with a partner or kicking into the net. Just make sure you are taking your time. Do not rush them. It's not about how quickly you get through those kicks. Now we're getting out onto the field. We've got our goal kicks where we've got 10 from the middle of the field, then we've go over to the 15 for 5, and then this 15 for 5, which is going to amount to 20 goal kicks. So really enjoy this. This is going to be all about focusing on our approach even when we're on an angle. So remember team, week 4 is still about our approach. We want to be really deliberate with the energy and the distance of our steps that we're taking. This field that we're kicking at today, this is where the Melbourne Storm train, so the Rugby League NRL team. I work with a goal kicker called Ryan Pappenhausen. Well done. Well done, Pepe. He is developing his technique, still young, still really new to it. When he was kicking from in front, every time he took his first step, this was about the distance and speed that he took. When he got out to the sidelines, he couldn't work out why he felt so rushed and so cramped up here at the ball. He just felt like everything was too intense, too rushed. And then when I went back and had a look at the video, whenever he was having a sideline kick in from any distance, his first step would be really rushed and he'd almost jump in towards the ball. So all that space that he's taking here meant that his plant foot was way too close, way too cramped up. He couldn't get his nice strike. So that's a really good example of no matter what kick you're taking. So for me, this first step was always really slow and small. This is what I need to do on all of these kicks today, from the 15s or from in front. Consistent approach, consistent energy. Stay slow, trust my timing. We've nailed our ball set up in week 1 and 2. We want to make sure that we're nailing that each time. Even though I do go straight back on a 45, the very first thing that I do when I check my seams is come back straight, make sure that I'm happy, and then I go back on my 45. Same thing though, my approach, my first step has to be consistent. Make sure it stays slow, trust my timing. That's the goal kicking session for today, team. That's week number 4. You guys are getting through this 3 times this week. Make sure that if there are people helping you with your goal kicking session, mum, dad, teammate, coach, make sure you're making a note of them in your goal kicking diary. It's really cool for me when I look back through my diary. I could see who helped, who was really keen, who was really invested, and it's a really special thing to look back on. Enjoy week 4. If you are having any questions, make sure you're asking them. Make sure you send us through an email. I love goal kicking. I love talking goal kicking and answering your guys' questions. Enjoy week number 4. Welcome to week 5 of the Rugby Bricks 12 Weeks Performance Goal Kicking Program. This week the focus is going to be all about rodeo arm. It's one of my favourite goal kicking points and one that helps bring a lot of balance, a lot more power and energy, and with more power and energy you end up getting more distance on your goal kick. So to explain rodeo arm, I'm going to again take from the 10 pillars of goal kicking video. Going to get my good friend Georgia Cormack, who I worked through and we developed a lot. We spent a lot of time working on this rodeo arm. She's a smaller girl, she's 55 kilos, 5'2", there's not much to her, and it was amazing how just adding in this rodeo arm really helped her gain a little bit more power. Anyway, let's have a look at the video where we're going through the drills that we'll get through today. So this is stage 1 of the body training drill. Now you don't have to have lines or be at the rugby field, you can do this in your lounge at home. How you line up your feet, so G's got her left foot, her toes lined up on the line, she's a right foot kicker. Your other foot is just floating off the ground, so not touching, but in line with the front of the toes. The reason we get into this position is this is her lockout point. So at the time of impact with the ball, her legs fully locked out, hip, knee and foot, with a big hard plantar flex foot. So that's really important to have that big hard foot so we can get it up the back of the ball. So within stage 1, we're just worrying about the legs so our hands can stay just in front of our body. So the first thing we want to get is hip extension. So rather than that knee bending first, we actually want to get this hip going first. So nice straight leg, G gets her hip, so therefore we get our hip extension. We're already starting to store energy at the back. Then we get that knee flexion, which is the bend of that knee. So let's try really get back. And as you can see here from the video, we're already starting to store heaps of energy behind that point of contact. So from here we just do a 3-second count. So G's going to take 3 seconds to get to that point. So going back nice and slow. Now we get that knee bend. From here she stays here for 3 seconds, 2, 1, and then returns to home in 3 seconds. So it's a 9-second count. We get through 5 reps of that. Go again, G. So what this is going to teach us is I'm really focusing on that glute, really trying to get that energy stored back there, and really try to get a little bit more hip extension each time we do it. Another rep, G. So really getting that hip extension really well, bit of knee flexion, and then returning home. And I'm really liking how G, when she gets back here, she's got that big hard foot really locking up. This is also going to challenge that plant foot. You can see that foot really having to balance and work hard to keep her plant foot stable, which is then going to transfer onto the field. Nice, G. So getting into stage 2 now, we're going to bring in this upper body and try bring some real good energy and store energy behind the kick in our upper body as well. So it's called the rodeo arm. We're going to go into that when we get into the 10 pillars, but all you need to know for now is that it can help us store energy behind the ball. So this left arm's going to get up, G's going to get our rodeo arm up. So the really cool thing is this left shoulder and our right glute can store energy, so they can really co-activate behind the ball, and then we can put all that energy through the ball. So now we're going to bring it into stage 2 body training. So another little bit of detail around this rodeo arm. So where do we want to get it? So if G puts her hand up, if we think that that's 180 degrees directly up and down, we want to be at 145 degrees from that vertical line. So that's where we want to get to. That's where you can be nice and balanced through the kick. Everything else is going to stay the same in stage 2. So same setup with our foot. So G's going to get her foot nice and hard, just floating off the ground, big hard plantar flex foot locked up. So we're going to bring in that rodeo arm. So at the same time she's going to get her extension behind her kick in her lower half. Let's go, G. So drawing back slowly, that rodeo arm's going to get up nice and strong as well. So as you can see already, we've got great extension through this left shoulder, and this right glute is really working hard. Again, that co-activation we can get through the ball. G returns home, that rodeo arm comes across her body. At the time of impact, when that foot is hitting the ball, our rodeo arm is directly in line with our target. Let's go again, G. Good energy stored, not rushing anything, so that 3-second count. She comes back to the ball, rodeo arm comes across her body, and at the time of impact with the ball, lines up with her target. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So now we get into stage 3. So G's going to store this energy and now let it come out with the momentum. Now G uses the hop style technique, so you'll see that get through on her plant foot. But same thing, we're going to get our 3-second count back. We're going to hold for 3 seconds and let that momentum come out. Start relatively small with this, so 60% with your momentum and your follow through. So this is what it looks like. So 3, 2, 1. We're going to pause here for 3, 2, 1, and then let that momentum come out through to target. And go again. So let's go again. 3, 2, 1. Good energy stored. 3, 2, and then let that momentum flow through. Beautiful. So stage 3 can be quite a complicated movement, putting it all together. So I like to work from 50%, 75, and then into 100. So all that means is from here, I get my plant foot set, big, hard, locked up foot. I'm just going to go to 50% of the movement. So a little bit of extension, a smaller rodeo arm, and just be happy hopping through on that plant foot. So getting used to that movement. So G's going to get through the 3 reps. She's going to start off at 50%, so nice and small. So a little bit of extension, good rodeo arm, and just get the body used to that hop motion and getting used to that technique. So let's go 75% G, so store a little bit more energy and then get through to target. Nice, same thing, we want that rodeo arm nice in line with target and then coming across our body. Awesome. I'd really suggest, encourage. Nice. So that's the 3 stages of body training. I'd really encourage you guys, coaches or players, to use this with your playing and with your techniques. So again, the common error that I see is we do just focus on that knee flick without actually storing energy behind the kick. This way it's going to tell your body before a kicking session exactly what muscles we want to turn on so that we can get more power and distance through our ball. So before you get started, make sure you get through your 5 stage 1, 5 stage 2 and 5 stage 3 of each of those exercises. You can do more of these. This is a really good thing for professional kickers to do in hotel rooms, in their lounge. Whenever they're going through the hotel, maybe they've got an extra 5 minutes where they just want to get their thoughts, get their muscle memory happening again. You can do these muscle memory drills, and that's why I really like doing them. A lot of the pro kickers are using these every day. So the first drill we're going to get into is just an air swing drill. So I used to have this incorporated in my game warm-up. What it meant is I could just focus on what the body is doing rather than having to worry about whether I'm making the kick, how I'm striking the ball. Let's get the body moving really well before we've even kicked a rugby ball. So again, we have got the rodeo arm focus. So throughout all these air swings, I really want to be focused on what this rodeo arm is doing. So it's just to the left of your ball. So for me, I'll just come away about 1 meter. So start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All you're doing is the exact same thing. So nice slow approach, build to the drill. And I'm just, as I get through the ball, just being really conscious of what this rodeo arm is doing. Now remember, pre-impact, we want it nice and tall, 45 degrees. At the time of impact, it's lined up, if you're the target, with where we want to kick to. And then we want it going parallel across our body. So rather than chopping down and compressing, we stay tall, pre-impact. At the time of impact, it's in front, and then we go across our body. So with these air swings, it's exactly what we're working on. So let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay slow, trust my timing. Come in, rodeo arm focus. And you can just be really deliberate with what's happening with your upper body staying nice and tall. So you've got to get through 10 of these before the session starts, before you've even kicked a ball. Make sure you're really thinking about what this rodeo arm is doing. So first drill we're doing today, kicking the rugby ball, is our standing one-legged drill again. So all those cues, be nice and soft. Remember that cue of nose over toes. So don't want to be leaning back too much. Let's have a nice positive tall body, but have your nose over your plant foot toes. You can see there on that line. So here we go. So first drill is ball drop 1. So I want to be hitting all these kicks down nice and low, getting good drive and punch behind them. I'll do 1 each side just to demonstrate, but you've got 20 on each of your legs. So ball in 2 hands. Remember, kick from your midline, put the ball out onto your hip line. Nice strike. Nice punch behind that one. I'll go straight to my left foot. So now the opposite. Ball's in my midline. I'm going to push it onto my left hip. So nice and balanced, soft leg, be nice and calm. Nice low strike to the ground. So that's ball drop 1. And then we're getting into our next set, which is now ball drop 2. So ball drop 2 is still just standing nice and balanced again. Instead of hitting it down at ball drop 1, we just hit a little bit higher. So all I think about here is just pushing the ball out a little bit higher. So rather than sort of placing the ball down, we just give it that little bit of air time, give ourselves a little bit more room to get that foot up the back of the ball. So ball drop 2 should see this ball go a little bit higher, nice and balanced. As you can see, I hit that ball a little bit higher. Nice punch, so we've got a set on the right foot. Now we go to my left foot, again nice and balanced, ball drop 2. Now we do the same 2 sets, but just with that 30-degree approach. So my first set is on my right foot, 30-degree approach, but still hitting down at ball drop 1. This is what it looks like. So nice little approach, 30 degrees, nice low hard hit, down at ball drop 1. Really looking for that nice punch behind it. So set on the right foot, now we do my left foot, 30-degree approach, nice hard low hit. Now we go same thing, just with ball drop 2, so height and distance, hang time, so clearing exit style kick, 30 degrees, a little bit higher ball drop. That was okay, didn't feel really strong up the back of that one. And then just for the demonstration, left foot, 30 degrees, ball drop 2. So on those ball drop 1 and 2 kicks, every time you're kicking the ball's going to give you feedback. What we're really looking for is that kick that has that nice punch behind it. The backspin on the ball is actually quite slow. If it's got really fast backspin, we've chopped the ball a little bit too much and we're missing out on distance. So the perfect result out of those nice hard hits is a nice strong thud up the back of the ball, and we see a nice straight ball, so the ball isn't floating, but a nice straight backspin, but it is quite a slow backspin. So if you're kicking to a partner or into a net, just make sure that's the hit that we're really chasing with all these kicks. Now we're into our goal kicks. As you know, us goal kickers like to make things really complicated. So this drill is all about making things simple again. Remember, we're just kicking the ball through the post. So how the drill works: set your ball up perfectly, make sure we get this detail right, that's still really important. Once we get to here, just turn your back on the ball, head back on a 45-degree angle, or usually where you come from. And from here, your brain and your body, you're gonna have to work out how to get itself in the best position. So whether you have to stutter, find your stride, we just wanna get that nice strike and remind ourselves, just kick the ball through the post. Good start, touch little pull on it. So let's try to fix this and that in this kick right now. But again, the point of the drill is just to remind the body, look, let's just get a nice strike on the ball, kick the ball through the post. Now, as this is rodeo arm week, make sure that we're really focusing here on that rodeo arm. Again, turn your back on the ball, walk back. You can take 10 steps, as many steps as you want, come in, still be nice and controlled. That was a better strike, and we went down that right channel. So that's the drill. So you've got to get through 5 of these styles kicks. It's really simple, and then all you're going to do is take 5 kicks from the left, 5 kicks from the right. We're not going outside the 15-meter line. Back to your normal approach, so take your time, get things perfect, but hopefully this drill just primes you and reminds you that you're just kicking the ball, keep things nice and simple. So that's week 5, team. Enjoy getting through those drills. Really want you to focus on that body training right at the start of the session, so make sure you get that right. Do not rush through, do not rush that first part of the session, it's really important. And then when you get to these goal kicks, you can really nail them. Make sure that rodeo arm is doing exactly what you want it to do. Enjoy week 5. Welcome to week 6. We've made it through to week 6 of this goal kicking program. I hope you guys are really enjoying this program and getting through all the different drills. Again, we've got body training at the start of the session, so make sure you take your time, do these right. One little note before we get started in the session is make sure you warm up, stretch, mobility, go for a jog, get the body nice and warm so you can absolutely nail these sessions this week. One little thing when it comes to the body training drill, one thing that I quite often see is when we're doing the body training and drawing back is when we return to home is the angle of our foot. So just make sure there how you can see sort of the bottom of my boot, the studs of my boots. Sometimes if we return to home without our foot getting in that up the back of the ball position, we can get quite inconsistent. So when you are doing the body training drills, just make sure that this week you nail how that foot is returning to home for how you want to make contact with this ball. Sweet. let's get started into our drills for week 6. We've done our body training set, now we're into our air swings again. So how I actually used to do this as well is along a line, so take my steps back and then just come through along the line and then just carry on forward, winning that momentum after the kick. So still focus on your radial arm, come off the line, get a nice strike, and you just keep coming along and you just get through your 10 working along the line. I'll come back towards you guys. So again, set yourself, come into the line, through. So that's a really good way to get through those air swings pre-session. Again, make sure you're really deliberate with your body. We're training our body, our muscles to get in the right position we need them to when goal kicking. Session number 6 means we've got the soccer ball back out. We're going to start with our standing grubbers. So again, nice and soft on that knee, getting that ball rolling, nose over toes. Focus on that ball drop, 2 hands to 1 hand on our hip line, get a nice strike. So 2 hands to 1 hand, get that ball rolling. I'll go straight into a left foot demonstration. So working on both feet here, now into my left foot grubber, 2 hand to 1 hand, get that ball drop, get that ball rolling. You guys should be starting to feel really comfortable with these now, getting through these reps, feeling like you've got a lot more balance on your plant foot. Into our drop kicks now, so getting on the ball nice and early, feeling that punch behind it, so 30-degree approach. Again, get this ball drop right, get on that ball, get a nice punch behind it. Really start enjoying this set now and letting that foot get through to target, almost touch your target with your foot as a nice cue. 30 degrees left foot. So you guys have got a set on each foot now with the soccer ball, working on those drop kicks. Now we're going to go into a height drop kick. Now, I've been talking a lot about winning momentum, getting through to target. Whenever we're looking for that punch kick or getting a nice follow through, we want to win momentum and go forward. Now with this height drop kick, I want you guys to think about going up, so having an up follow through. So what that looks like is instead of going forward, now my momentum goes up. You can see my body lift, you can see me get up on that toe, almost a little hop. So now we're doing a set of height drop kicks with the soccer ball. This is what it looks like. So ground check, just like you do in a restart, a kickoff or a game of 7s. We're looking for that height kickoff and an up follow through. Stay nice and tall, try not to compress too much, so stay tall, up follow through. Here are the 2 differences in the 2 different styles of drop kicks. So first, it's our forward momentum, so 22 drop out, a long kickoff or having a drop goal in a game from distance. So we want to break the line and get our momentum going forward and through. And then the opposite of that is when we're looking for our kickoff, our restart 7 style, where we want height and hang time. My follow through has to go up. I have to end up on those toes, follow through up. Stay a little bit taller, don't compress as much, stay nice and tall. You can see the difference of the different outcome that I want. I have to change the follow through that I'm after. Rather than being a forward follow through, I have an up follow through. So we've primed ourselves really well with the soccer ball. Now we're going into drop kicks with the rugby ball. So same principle, we want to get on the ball nice and early, get that nice strong thud up the back of the ball, nice momentum forward follow through. So both doing our left and right foot for this set. So 30-degree approach, get on the ball nice and early, good hard hit up the back of the ball. For those 2 punch drop kicks, you're going to do both left and right foot. I think it's really good to have both a left and a right drop kick, especially in game. Drop goals, when pressure comes from different angles, it's really nice to adjust to that off foot. Johnny Wilkinson, Rugby World Cup game winner, it's really nice to have that up your sleeve. Now we're just going to do our height drop kick. So remember, rather than momentum forward, we're looking for momentum up. Looking for our height drop kick, stay nice and tall, follow through up, let that self get up in the follow through rather than forward. Nice and slow, trust your timing. Good start. I felt I sat back a little bit on this. It sometimes happens when you do a drop kick, as your hips want to go back to get the height. Still have strong hips, but follow through up and tall. So I'll focus on this on this kick. Up, follow through. Slightly better, I felt a little bit stronger. So to finish off week 6, you have got 20 kicks within the 15-metre line. So anywhere on the field between the two 15-metre lines you guys can take your kicks from. Remember, the focus is our radial arm. One thing with the radial arm is if usually when you're making contact with the ball, say you're starting here looking at yourself back on video, I don't expect you to go from being here all the way to 45 in 1 week. So just think about, if this is your usual or you may be low with your radial arm, just think about trying to get a little bit higher each session, each kick, and eventually we'll get it up nice and tall at that 45. So anywhere within the 15s this week, you can have 20 kicks. Big focus is, again, at the start of the program, our ball setup, then we've added in our approach, and now we want to be really consistent with our radial arm. So stay slow, trust my timing, down that right channel. So that's week 6, team. Again, I'm going to say it one more time for the 6th time. Make sure you are recording in your journal all these learnings, all these little details, how you're doing things. You will not regret after this 12-week program having all those notes, all those sessions. And whoever's kicking with you, mum, dad, teammate, coach, put a little note that they're helping you out through these sessions. Enjoy week number 6. Hey guys, welcome to week number 7 of your goal kicking performance program. Now, instead of over at the far away net, we're using the soccer net today. So if you have got a soccer net available, they work just as good as any other net. The focus for this week, so week 7 and 8, is going to be all about our foot and hip getting up the back of the ball. So progressing from our last 2 weeks, which was all about our radial arm, now we're moving into how can we get our foot and our hip in the most powerful position at the time of impact. That's going to give us more distance, more foot up the back of the ball, and it really help us kick the ball better. So let's get into the drills for week number 7. Our first drill today is with the soccer ball. We're standing on one leg again, so remember that leg's nice and soft. With our follow through, I want you to think about now bringing in the hop technique. So after we've made impact, actually hopping forward on that plant leg. So without the ball, just to show you, so hopping forward and then this foot is going down. The reason we do that is so that we can win momentum, stay in the kick slightly longer. So I really want you guys to enjoy that hop, make it look nice and natural with these starting grubbers. 2 hand to 1 hand, kick on your hip line, get that hop moving forward. So with those grubbers, make sure you get through them on both feet. Now we're going into our drop kick, punch kick. So again, we're on that 30-degree angle, getting on the ball nice and early, getting our nice foot up the back of the ball. And again, we can think about that hop technique with our drop kick. So after impact, enjoy that hop, let that foot get through to target. Remember, for these punch drop kicks, we are going to do both feet, so both our left and our right foot. Again, we want to be feeling and reading, getting a feel for how we're striking the ball. That one's sliced off the outside of my foot. Just going to get on the ball a bit quicker, bring in my ball drop, get up the back of the ball. And make sure we're enjoying that hop on both our left and right foot. The reason why I like the hop is so you can win that half metre. So if I'm making impact here on the line, that hop technique is going to take me through, break that half metre, win momentum in the kick. So we've primed ourselves really well with the soccer ball for our drop kicks. Now we're going to the rugby ball. So I'm going to do a set of 4 30-degree approaches. Just make sure that I nail that ball drop, get on the ball nice and quick, enjoy that hop follow through. So right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. 30 degrees approach. Again, get on it nice and early. Scuff that one a little bit, scuff the ground, but enjoy that hop follow through, win momentum, foot and hips up the back of the ball. 30 degrees. My right foot's feeling a little bit straighter than my left. Last one, 30 degrees. That was our 30-degree approach and drop kick. Now we're going into that drop punt. For these, I want you hitting the ball up at ball drop number 2. So if that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, we want to be making contact at 2. So again, a big distance kick like our goal kick, that's the strike we want. Really want you to focus on this hip and body being up the back of the ball. So if my hips angling too far to the right, when I make contact, I'm losing out of that power from being behind the ball, big and strong through my hips. So on all these contacts, that's why we start at 30 degrees, so that on impact, my hip and foot are big and strong and up the back of the ball. So let's see how the set of 4 go. Right foot, left foot, 30 degrees, big and strong up the back of the ball. Left foot, 30 degree approach, same thing, be strong, powerful up the back of the ball. Same things on these kick, we can enjoy that hop follow through, so 30 degrees, hop after the kick. So we've done our set of drop kicks, 30 degrees, then we've just done a set of ball drop 2, so our punting downfield. Now we're going into our spiral. So I want you to do a set on your dominant foot, so for myself it's my right foot. 30 degree approach, all those little things we're talking about with the spiral. So the ball at 11 and 5, dip that nose a little bit. From my midline, push it out to my hip line, nice strike. Remember, with my foot, I'm not trying to spin the ball, I'm just trying to hit it nice and straight and true. The ball will do its job after impact. So let's get all our things spot on, our setup, our 30 degrees, our hop technique, our foot and hips up the back of the ball. So spiral technique setup, come into the net, good start. And we've primed ourselves to be making contact at ball drop 2. So again, with these spirals, not too low, not too high, ball drop 2. So 11 and 5, drop the nose a touch from my midline to my hip line, nice strike. We're now into our goal kicks. Quite often in games you see a goal kicker right in front of the post take a short approach. We're actually going to use that style of kick to work on our momentum. So when you use your short approach, instead of just hitting the ball and stopping, we're going to think about winning momentum, winning that half-meter post ball, plus all those good things about getting our foot and hip up the back of the ball. So how it looks for me, if my usual approach is 4 steps, so for me my short approach was 1 smaller step and then 1 big step. So from here I'd go 1 and then a big step, give myself space, rock back a little bit, come into the ball. So as a goal kicker, it just meant I didn't get charged down with my full run up right in front of the post. Plus we're nice and close, we know that if we just get a nice strike, the ball's going to go over. So that's what we're working on. But on this short approach, the key things is getting all those little things right, and then once we've made impact, getting through this space past the ball. So short approach, let's have a look. So just my normal one, and then a big step, give myself some space, sight my target, get my foot and hip up the back of the ball. And as you can see there, successful goal kick. I didn't just stop on the ball, I won the momentum, finished the job through to target. One of the key mistakes that I see people make on their short kicks is they have a short target. So for us, we can be aiming through the distance at one of those trees. I'll use that tree right in front of us, so through the post. So rather than having a target that's just there 15 meters away, now my target is more like 40 meters away, which means that my brain and my focus want to kick the ball through to that line. If I miss the tree, the ball still goes over. So short approach again, win momentum, nice and small, still sight your target, foot and hips up the back of the ball, be balanced, get a nice strike. Ball still goes over. We've just done our 12 short approach run-ups. The reason why I really like using that, having that in your kicking toolbox, is so that you can use those in games. For those close kicks, you know you won't get charged down, you can still be really balanced and have a really good goal kicking technique. Plus at training sessions, it just means we don't have to do full 100% goal kicks all the time, we can build up. So we've primed our body, now I'm back here on the 40-meter line and I'm having a kick, or having already done all those good things, got my foot, my hip, my rodeo arm, my tall body, my balance, I'm going to take into my full approach now. The focus is still get through past this half meter and all those good things when it comes to goal kicking and momentum. So right channel kick, so 40 meters, we were just up there at 15. I should now feel really balanced and strong when I get to the ball, because I had to do that up there on my short approach. Stay slow, trust my timing. That there is week number 7, a really fun session. I hope you guys enjoy doing those short approach goal kicks, then bringing in the full goal kicking approach. It's really unique when you feel the difference. You can feel that extra energy by having those extra steps within your goal kicking technique. Again, make sure you're getting down all these learning in your kicking diary. If you've got questions, please ask. Enjoy week number 7. Welcome to week 8 of the 12 weeks goal kicking performance program. The focus this week is still all about getting our hips and a strong foot up the back of the ball. We're starting off with some net kicking drills. I'm going to be a little bit further away from the net so that you can see more of the ball flight and the outcome of the kick we're trying to achieve, especially on those standing on 1 foot drills where we go ball drop 1, 2 and 3. You'll be able to see the outcome of the ball and we'll talk through all those points. Let's jump straight into the drills for this week. So our first set is all just standing on 1 foot again, so all those good cues. Remember, soft knee, we don't want to be big and tall and locked out, so soft knee so that my momentum can get through to target. Remember, with my ball drop I want to be nose over toes, so rather than leaning back on it, nose over my plant foot toes throughout the kick. I maintain that real positive upper body. Now we are a little bit further away from the net, so if my camera person jumps around behind. So the outcome we're looking for on these first kicks, ball drop 1 nice and low to the ground. I want to try hit the net around about my head height. So make a good hard contact, ball stays low, slow backspin on the ball, down at ball drop 1. Good start, nice backspin. Again, nose over toes, nice and positive. Be nice and balanced before you kick. Remember our ball drop, midline out to my hip line. Good punch behind that. 2 to go. Nice and low to the ground. Stay tall, don't compress just because it's ball drop 1. Still stay tall so you can get a nice big strong hips and foot up the back of the ball. Probably my best strike, and they're all hitting the net about my head height, which is great. Got a little bit high on that one. We now go to ball drop 2, so instead of ball drop 1 we get a little bit more height. I think the key thing that happens with ball drop 1, because it's low to the ground, our upper body compresses but we lose our power, our hips go backwards. So just make sure on all the kicks, no matter whether you're hitting down at 1, 2 or 3, we maintain that big strong hip power through all the kicks. Now we're ball drop 2, a little bit more height, a bit more punch behind it. You'll see the ball hitting a lot higher up on the net. Got a big right to left breeze happening here, so I'm just trying to start them a little bit right of directly in front of me. Now last of the set, up at ball drop 3, so good height. You should see this hitting up around the top of the net. So again, because I'm hitting higher, don't let those hips sit back and go backwards. Stay positive, let that uplift happen in the follow through. 2 hands to 1 hand ball drop, right hand slightly lower than my left on the ball drop. Good start. 2 hands to 1 hand, nice high follow through. Ball drop 3, hitting up near the top of that net, which those balls are, which is great. Best one, I think. Last one, let that follow through get high. We progress now into bringing in the 30-degree approach. So we've done our ball drops standing on 1 foot, ball drop 1, 2 and 3. Now we bring in 30 degrees, ball drop 1, 2 and 3. I'm just going to do 1 ball on each of these, but obviously you'll get through the full set. So again, 30 degrees, coming nice and positive. The first kick's going to be nice and low and darty. Let's get that ball rolling into touch. Good hard punch up the back of the ball. Good start, got a nice hard punch behind that. So that's ball drop 1. Now we're going to ball drop 2, so like an exit kick, height and hang time, putting the ball downfield, a little bit higher on the net, 30 degrees, hit the ball a bit higher. Got an okay strike on that, felt like the ball just fell out a little bit. Now ball drop 3, so instead of that momentum forward follow through, letting things come up a little bit, hitting up near the top of the net. Went over the net. Uh-oh. I might have to go closer to the cast. Might have to go closer to the net on that set. If you are starting to feel really comfortable with these kicks, I want you to add in a little bounce. If you're not, again, just stay nice and slow, build through this program as you see fit. But what we can do is add a little bounce, add a little pop, make it a little bit more game realistic, receiving a pass off a halfback or another player, where you have to adjust and realign yourself. So all this set's going to look like is the same kicks, so still ball drop 1, 2 and 3. I'll go through 3 balls, off a bounce, off a kick where I've got to reline. So little pop to yourself, adjust, realign. Started with ball drop 1, where I got a nice hard punch up the back of the ball. Ball drop 2, might even be a small little pop. Ball drop 2, get height. Really good strike on that. And now ball drop 3. Hopefully you don't go over the net this time, but again, maybe receive a high ball, take the ball back, ball drop 3. You now have 5 different spots where you're going to kick from. Now the reason I like this drill is you have 2 kicks from the exact same spot. If you miss, gives you a chance to fix and make the correction within your kicking style. If you get it, then you really have to focus to nail the second kick. So 5 spots, obviously best of 10, you'll get through this 3 times this week. This here's the first spot for me. I've got my ball set up right. We've been working really hard on my approach, my rodeo arm, so let's get all those little things right every one of these 10 kicks that we take. Stay slow, trust my timing. Let's start well. So perfectly for why we're doing this drill, I missed my first kick, I left everything out to the right, wasn't really focused, probably because I was talking to you guys. So my fixes, instead of leaving my hips sort of over here to the right, I'm really going to focus on bringing those through with the kick, get my foot touching my target, just get a lot more energy behind the ball. So that's why we're doing this drill. Gives you a chance to work out, okay, what was the mistake, what's the fix this time? So on this kick I'm really going to get through, plus start my ball a little bit more left, so just inside that left upright with this wind left to right. Let's see how we go. Much better, good fix. Now we move on to the next spot. So that's the session. Keys for these 10 kicks is not to get frustrated when you miss. Let's see if we can change our mindset from going, shit, I've missed a kick, to okay, I've missed a kick, what are the reasons, what's the fix? And as soon as we start writing those fixes in our journal, then we'll be able to problem solve on the field straight away. Just like what happened there, because I've spent years and years doing this, I knew exactly what the fix was from the field from the first kick, and it's really pleasing when you can fix it and solve the problem on your next. That is week number 8, enjoy the session. Welcome to week number 9 of the Rugby Bricks 12-week performance goal kicking program. Now this focus for week 9 and 10 is all about our plant foot and then our kicking foot with how we're making contact. Once again, I'm going to take an outtake from our 10 pillars of goal kicking detail video where I talk through a little bit more detail about the plant foot and the kicking foot. Kettlebell transfer drill. So this is all about our ankle stability and also our hips staying nice and strong. So when we're about to kick a rugby ball, we're actually jumping into the plant foot and having to be really stable on that plant foot. I love this drill because it's a really good way to build up our off kicking foot. So quite often when we try to learn with our left foot or our off foot, it's actually our plant foot that's really unstable. So therefore we're really unstable trying to learn to kick. So this is a great drill just using a kettlebell. All we do is standing on my plant foot. I'm nice and balanced for a start, starting with the kettlebell on my midline. I'm just going to take that kettlebell out to the side and then transfer it across my body. Now this drill looks really easy, but as you can see, my knee, my foot is working really hard to keep my stability. And as I get more confidence, I'm trying to go for about 30 seconds, just get slightly wider with the transfer. And as you can see, that's asking my body to balance and really keep my plant foot nice and stable. Pillar number 7 is all about our kicking foot and the position that we're getting into. So we need to get it into the plantar flex position, which is pointed toes really hard and expose this big hard foot knuckle. So I quite often call it trout foot, so like a fish flopping all over the place. If we don't get that foot nice and hard, we can't get a big hard strike up the back of the ball and be really powerful and get a good strike. So it's really important, again with that body training stuff, to really train our foot position to be in that nice hard plantar flex position, We want a hard foot on every style of kick that we're doing, so quite often with drop kicks or when we try to get height, we actually turn our foot up and try to scoop it. We still want to keep our foot nice and hard and locked up. We just may impact at a higher point with our ball drop. So it's really important every kick to have a plantar flex foot. When we're goal kicking, we actually want to get some elevation in our kick. So sometimes we see a soccer effect where our foot gets too side on, where we're trying to push the ball along the ground, hence what they do in football and soccer. We still need to stay up the back of the ball so we can get that nice elevation and allow our follow through to get the elevation with that big hard foot. So depending on what kicking tee you use depends on how you get your kicking foot up the back of the ball. So if you're using the RB Vortex mid-cut or a tee that's slightly higher, we can allow our foot to get up the back of the ball, nice and strong, plantar flex, and probably on that angle there, really up the back of the ball, which is nice and strong. If we're using a low kicking tee like the RB Wolf, we still get a nice hard foot, but we actually get slightly lower. So quite often our body's in a lower position, a more angled position. Think of a guy like Dan Carter at the point of impact. His body's on quite a lean because he's nice and strong at that point. So when you're doing your body training drills, it's really important that you're training your body to get into the position that you want your foot to be in at the time of impact. So plenty of detail in that video. Please go back and watch again if you need to. That's why we're making these videos that you can revisit at any time. We're starting with our body training drill, and this week I really want you to focus on your kicking foot and how it is making contact. So instead of with your body training drill just coming back and this foot being on all sort of different angles, even use your kicking tee to think, that's where I want my foot to be at the time of impact. When I do my body training drill and take my foot back, when it returns to home, instead of the foot being turned out or turned in, a little bit different angles of your hip. Just make sure that every time you're returning to home base, you're getting your foot in the position that you want to. Now that's going to depend on what kicking tee you're using, what height, but if we can get that really consistent, that's going to help us with our goal kicking. After our body training drills, we've got our air swing. So I'm going to use this line here. So again, the reason why I like using the line is it's because it's just a reminder of once that foot has made impact, what line to stand in on. So we come in on our approach line, so for me it was 45. At the time of impact with my air swing, I want to make contact, and then that foot is reminding myself that I'm staying on the line. So again, take your step backs, make it really natural. We've been working on approach, radial arm, all those small things, make it really consistent with these air swings. So on that one, I felt like I compressed a little bit with my upper body. So on this one, I'm just going to give myself the cue for this radial arm to keep me tall rather than chopping down. Air swing along that line, come in slow. Stayed a lot taller, a lot stronger. Straight into our standing spiral kick. So again with our ball drop, remember 11 and 5 with the nose slightly down. Same principle though, the ball's in two hands and we push out to one hand on our hip line. So I'm kicking these into the net, starting off with standing, get that ball drop right, nice strike behind it, get some nice punch behind this kick. So we're starting with a standing set, then we'll progress into the 30-degree set. So for the sake of the video now, I'll go straight into 30 degrees. So again, spiral, nothing changes, have that body nice set and tight, look like a kicker, feel like a kicker, same strike. With your spiral kicks, when they're coming off the foot into a net, the ball doesn't actually have the chance to turn over on itself. So when we're kicking the ball downfield, you see those big long spirals. The ball starts up and spiraling and then starts to turn over on itself. It's how you get the big distance. For net kicking, it's just going to stay up. As long as we've got that nice spiral, be happy getting that effect. So ball, two hands to one hand, kick from your hip. Good start, got that spiral effect. It was a little bit ugly, but that's what we're after. That was better. But as you can see, the ball is sort of just staying on that plane spiraling, which is fine. Now we're going to go to our 30-degree approach, same thing. That was a great strike. Want to get a little bit more punch up the back of the ball. Same spiral kick, 30 degrees. Came off the side of the boot a little bit. So spiral kicks are a really good asset for you to have in your kit bag. Just make sure with your spirals, they're not the most accurate kick in the world, but they are really hard to catch a spiral bomb, plus that max distance downfield, or if you're looking to skid the ball along the ground in a wet, rainy game, it's a really good kick to have. So to make sure that you've got it in the bag. Now we progress into our drop kick and drop punt. We're working on a 30-degree approach. The first kick that we're doing is that punch drop kick where we want to get on it nice and early. Just like a kick in a game, a snap drop kick, get on the ball nice and quick. So 30-degree approach, we're doing both right and left foot. That ball got a nice bounce, which made it got pretty high on it. So left foot, again, punch drop kick, 30 degrees. Good strike there, so a set of those on each side. And now we get into our drop punt, ball drop 2, exit kick, clearing kick downfield, 30 degrees, ball drop 2. Ball drop just fell out a little bit. Again, learning from every rep, 30 degrees, ball drop 2, left foot. Good strike. So the setup for these first 10 kicks, we're on the try line, 5 meters in from touch, so we've got room for our approach. Now the focus here is all about our ball flight. I'm wanting to fly this ball down the right side of the post, so it's not actually about the ball going through the post. I want to commit to that right side of the post, it flies past and then starts to come back to the middle. If the ball pulls early, which will give me the cue straight away, it means that I've pulled it off the foot. So it's all about just getting trust in your goal kicking technique. I'm starting my ball just to the right, commit to that line, a nice little late fade back to the left once it's gone past the post. Gives you a really good cue of your ball flight and how you're striking the ball. Stay slow, trust my timing. And now start to come back, stayed out there. But as you can see, I committed to that right channel, ball flew past the face of the post, exactly what we want. And then if you get a little bit more on it, it starts to draw back and will actually land to the left of the try line. So give that one a go. You've got 10 kicks in this session. Now you've got 10 kicks from anywhere between the two 15-meter lines, so go a distance that you're happy with. Since that drill we just did before is really dialed in your ball flight, now take that into these kicks. So commit to your line, stay down that right channel. So for me it's starting just 1 meter inside that right upright and just making sure you really commit to that line with your body. I've been leaving my right hip open a little bit during this session, so I'm really going to focus on bringing that leg through, get through to target. Stay slow, trust my timing, get that ball flight we want. Pulled it a touch. So that's the session team. You've got 10 kicks between the two 15s. Big focus today is again about our plant foot and our kicking foot. That's why we did the body training drills at the start. So make sure you're taking your time at the start of the session, get all those strikes right, making sure your foot's in that really good position. Strong hips, strong foot, and we'll progress next week into where we want our plant foot landing. So enjoy the session, week number 9. Welcome to week number 10 of the Rugby Bricks 12 weeks goal kicking performance program. The focus is still all about our plant foot and our kicking foot. I'm going to show you again another video from our Rugby Bricks 10 pillars of goal kicking detail episode all about the plant foot. So pillar number 6 is about our plant foot. Now when you watch most international kickers, they're actually not landing in the same line as their target. They're landing around about 30 degrees. So quite often it was coached for a long time that your plant foot had to land in the same line as your target. So for me, doing a lot of research, working with a lot of kickers, watching thousands of kicks, you see this plant foot actually landing at 30 degrees. Now the reason why is the human body and the angle that we come on with that hip joint being a ball and socket joint, this plant foot actually enjoys landing at that angle. It just means that we can get through the ball and our follow through can get through to target along with that kicking foot to target as well. So the question often comes up on where this plant foot should be landing. So behind the tee, in line with the tee, in front of the tee. So for me, it's really important to have a look at where the strongest lockout point is. What's the lockout point? So G's locked up, hip, knee, foot is in line. She's really strong and powerful. That's where she wants to be making impact. So for a lot of kickers, they actually find that getting in front of the ball, so long range kickers with big long levers, actually are leaving their plant foot slightly behind the kicking tee. It's where they feel like they're the strongest. For a lot of kickers that like to kick the ball low to the ground, so G gets a bit of a lean on because that's what what she does when she approaches the ball. The lockout point is actually closer to the midline of the tee. So video yourself kicking, see where you're looking the most powerful, and then from there you can play around with where this plant foot is landing. You do need to give yourself some space, so we don't want to crowd the ball because bad things happen when we block the ball and leave the ball to the right of the post, but we do need to find out where we're the most strongest and where we're the most comfortable. But again, just to cover off those points, we don't have to be landing in line. We can have up to 30 degrees and just find out where you're going to be the strongest with that lockout point as well. So just on video to show some of the different effects that what a plant foot can do with where it's landing. So if I get really crowded on the ball, I'm not going to be able to get through the ball with a nice hard foot. I'm going to probably hit the ball a little bit too high up, closer to that ankle joint. So crowding the ball, wrapping the ball a lot, a range of different things can happen. We can leave the ball over to the right, or because we're swooping, get a big rogue hook on it. If I get too far back from the ball, quite often my foot gets through, but we're not hitting that nice hard foot knuckle. We get a little bit tinny and we get that undercut and a whole heap of backspin. If we get too far forward, and again we're not comfortable in this position, again we're getting through the ball really early, and of course everything's going to the right, so I'm going to leave the ball over there, and it's not my strongest point. I'm probably still going to have my knee bend. I'm not going to be in that nice locked out hard powerful position. So that's why it's really important to watch your own technique, find out what's going to work best for you, and see where you're getting that big strong lockout point. So we're playing on a really muddy ground where I'm not really too confident that I'm going to get my plant foot nice and stable. How do we adjust with this? So what I used to do with my approach is I used to give myself just a little bit higher on the ball, so that when I arrived at the ball, my plant foot wasn't coming in at such a big angle. I could be a little bit squarer and trust this ground that my plant foot could get set. So play around with that again. It's something that worked for me in a really ugly, muddy conditions. You did have to make a small adjustment because we were coming in a little bit squarer, but I would rather get a good balanced plant foot so I could get a nice strike on the ball rather than slipping out and then not even getting a chance of getting the ball over. Let's jump straight into the drills. We are going to use the soccer net again. We're starting off with our grubbers, adding in a little bit of footwork. We're going to work on both feet using the soccer ball. We're going straight into running grubbers, so all I've done is I've put my kicking tee down as a bit of a reference. I'm going to go round the kicking tee, which is going to give me a bit of footwork, and then I want to square myself up and make contact. So we're just going right, left. Again, all those good things about our ball placement, how we want to hit the ball, momentum through the target. So round the cone, little grubber, getting that ball rolling along the ground. So we're doing both left and right foot for a start, building this, making sure they're both feeling the same. Get around that cone, push that ball through the line. So happy for you guys to change up how hard you're kicking the ball, little taps, harder ones, different styles of outcomes. Start nice and light and then build your way up. We've got through our grubber sets now we're getting into our drop punt kicks. We're going to do both right and left foot again. So remember your 30-degree approach, 2 hands to 1 hand, get on that ball nice and early. We're looking for those punch drop kicks. So you should be starting to feel really confident with these. Just start to feel whether you're getting a little bit too much punch on it, too low to the ground. We do want to get elevation. So on that last kick, I got a little bit too low to the ground. It's slightly better. So we obviously want the ball to be able to go over the crossbar, so we've got to get a little bit of elevation. 30-degree approach, nice strike. Finish off with the left foot. Remember, get those toes getting towards the crossbar, nice hard and extended. We've primed our drop kick really well with the soccer ball. Now we're into the rugby ball. So again, that punch style drop kick, like we're taking a drop goal in a game, we need to get that elevation, but also momentum through to target. So 30-degree approach, get on the ball nice and early, good elevation. For all 4 of these styles of kicks, we are just doing our dominant foot, so have really good attention to detail. Make sure you're nailing each of the techniques. 2 hand to 1 hand, nice strike. That style of drop kick that we just did was all about getting punch and momentum behind the ball, just like a drop kick, 22 dropout. Now we're working on our height drop kick. So again, instead of our follow through taking ourselves forward, we need up momentum and uplift, meaning that our follow through goes up, we end up on our toes. And now we're doing a set of those. Always ground check, make sure you get a nice bounce, let that ball elevate so that we can get under it and get our height. But again, height follow through is the key here. So I've been a little bit inconsistent there with both those ball drops. First one dropped in a little bit, second one dropped out. I'm just feeling like I'm not guiding the ball very well, so let's try to be really accurate there. That was better, which gave me a much better strike on the ball. Last two styles of kicks before we get on the tee, we're going to work on both our ball drop 2 and ball drop 3. So 30-degree approach, the first one is ball drop 2, which I'll do 2 balls on now. So this one again, we're looking for a downfield kick, good height and hang time, but distance is the main objective. So again, foot up the back of the ball, nice and strong, make a nice contact. I find that these kicks really prime you up well for kicking the ball well off the tee, because you're getting nice strikes on the rugby ball already. Now we're going to ball drop 3, so height and a little bit of distance now, but height's the main objective. So on those ones I was hitting a little bit lower, now I want to make contact nice and high and up at 3, so you'll see that in these kicks. So 3 ball drop, high kick. Just like we're putting up a kick for a winger to chase, even a box kick style distance. We're into the goal kicking part of the session now. 3 different styles of kicks from 10 different spots between the two 15-metre lines. So the idea of this is just to remind yourself that kicking off a tee is just another style of kick, and you should be able to get really nice strikes, just like your drop kick, like when you're kicking out of hand with your punt kick. That's why we're doing this drill. So I'm going to demonstrate the 3 different kicks. The first one is our drop kick. So from around the same spot that you've got your tee, first kick is a drop kick, and I really want you to think about all those things that are really crucial that throughout your primers you've been doing. So with the drop kick, my ball drop's really important. I want to get on the ball nice and quick, 30-degree approach, and get a nice strike. Great start, first one went over. Second one is kicking out of hand. Now we're going to do ball drop 2. So again, 30 degrees, ball drop 2, 2 hand to 1 hand, all those really important things. So 30-degree approach, ball drop 2. Pushed it out there to the left, got a nice strike, which is going to set me up really well for this goal kick. So now from the same spot, take your time, don't rush things, get your ball set up right, think about that right channel drill. I just got a really nice strike with ball drop 2, but just hooked it a little bit. So I'm just going to try stay a little bit this side of the ball for a little bit longer. Stay slow, trust my timing. Snuck in just inside that right upright. That is your week number 10 video. Enjoy getting through, especially those 3 kicks there at the end. Take your time, make sure your ball setup's right, give yourself those little cues before each kick. Just like I had to make that little fix that I learned from my ball drop 2 missing to the left, make little fixes. We need to learn from every kick that we're taking throughout these sessions. Enjoy getting through week number 10. Welcome to week number 11 of the Rugby Bricks 12 weeks goal kicking performance program. Well done on getting this far. We've got 2 weeks to go. Stay focused and make sure you nail each of these sessions. The focus for these 2 weeks is going to be all about momentum and staying in the kick. Let's have a look at a video all about momentum. When I think about momentum, it's winning this half-metre pre-ball and then winning this half-metre post-ball. So generally the first part of the kick's really easy to do. We're coming in strong, good body position and getting our plant foot in a really good position. So we've got good momentum. At the time of impact, we really want to be nice and tall and over the midline of the ball. That's going to help with our momentum as well, rather than being behind the ball. So we've won this half-metre. It's really important, and why I like the hop technique, that once we've made impact, that we're actually hopping through and winning this half-metre with our body getting through there as well. Quite often we come to the ball, and if we're leaning back and get this plant foot locked up and straight, pull away on that C shape, we don't win this half-metre, and as you can see, my body hasn't won the half-metre through the ball. So really crucial thing when you're watching yourself on video, win this half-metre, win that half-metre, and you will have won momentum through the kick. With momentum on your approach, kind of like a plane taking off, we've got to build speed. So again, with that first step, if we're really quick and get moving too fast, we're not going to be controlled and balanced at the ball. So for me, it was all about that slow first step and then really building momentum into the ball. So that's going to help winning that first part of momentum as well. Just a cue when it comes to momentum is that this plant foot can't be a big hard locked out foot brake. So if if I'm landing here with a straight leg, it's going to be really hard to get through this ball really well and get moving forward. So this leg's got to be soft, it's got to be able to cushion ourselves and get balanced. That means that my big strong kicking leg can get through and I can actually get my momentum moving forward. So just watch this plant foot on video again. If it's big and straight, it's probably going to be hard to get going forward. It might be causing that C shape. Keep it balanced so that you can be nice and soft and balanced, and then getting through to target as well. The drills today are quite simple. We've done these drills before. We're really going to focus on our momentum going forward after we've made impact. So we're just working our way up. I'll just do the 3 different ball drops, focusing on the momentum. So first kick is ball drop 1, low to the ground, 2 hand to 1 hand, momentum through. I want to win this half meter after I've made impact, not just hit and stop and fall backwards. Ball drop 1, nice and low. Then we get into ball drop 2, so again hitting a little bit higher. You'll see it hit higher up on the net. Same thing, win that momentum, win that half meter. Good strike on that one, happy with that. And then ball drop 3, nice and high. Want to hit really high up on the net, same thing, a little bit of up, but also going forward with that momentum. We just did our standing ball drops now we're bringing in our 30-degree approach. Really key that this plant foot isn't locked up and hard. It's got to be bent and soft so that we can break through and get our momentum through to target. So ball drop 1, 2 and 3. I'll do 1 ball on each. So ball drop 1, 30-degree approach. Good hard hit. Ball fell out just a little bit in my ball drop. Ball drop 2, a little bit more height. Stay big and tall on these. Momentum follow through. That was a really nice strike, happy with that. Now ball drop 3, max height and hang time. Hopefully I don't go over the net this time. I'll just catch the top of it. I'll take it forward a little bit further. Ball drop 3. Moving into the goal kicks now, we've got 12 kicks. We're doing our right channel drill. We've done this earlier on in the program. Next week, moving into week 12, we're going to kick from 12 different spots, a little bit of a challenge, best out of 12 that we can get. For week 11, we're really going to focus on how we're kicking the ball, that right channel, get all the good things happening before we get into those challenges. So my ball setup, again, I'm going down that right channel between the middle of the post and the right upright. That's my right channel. My ball setup's great. I really want to nail my approach, my rodeo arm, everything that we've built into this program. These 12 kicks in week 11 are really important for us to nail. Stay slow, trust my timing. Let's get this ball down that right channel. Happy with that first one, so it did draw back to the middle, which is exactly what we want. I'll just have a second kick. See if we can replicate that and nail it again. Again, with these 12 kicks, take your time, make sure you nail your process, all those little details, don't be rushing. Ball check those seams, down that right channel, ball valve on the bottom, Gilbert's facing me, which I always like when using Gilbert rugby balls, right channel focus. My approach was the same, like distance, energy, steps, and for me I've really got to nail this first step of staying nice and slow. Stay slow, trust my timing, down that right channel. The challenge often is when you get up to about kick number 6, you might be 6 from 6, is staying really focused on your process. It's really easy for your brain to go on to another job or start thinking about other things. So that's the real challenge with these 12 kicks from right in front and why I like the drill. It's all about ball flight, right channel, process, approach, rodeo arm, detail when you goal kicking technique. So that's week number 11. This is really going to set us up for week 12. Enjoy the week. Week number 12, congratulations on getting through this full program. I know that by now you'll have some real good self-confidence in your goal kicking technique. Go back through, have a look at your journal leading up to week 12, all those little cues, all the learnings you've got from the sessions. I know it'll pay off in this week 12, especially when we get into the goal kicking challenge best out of 12 goal kicks. Really exciting. This week's video we're going to have a look at is all about staying in the kick and what happens when our eyes come up too early when we're goal kicking. Tip number 5 on how to get more distance on your goal kicks is all about winning this half meter and winning this half meter. So firstly, our approach to the ball, generally this one's a lot easier to win. So we're coming in, we're nice and balanced, we're getting onto that plant foot, and we're being really big and strong through our hips, our chest, and our body, our rodeo arm, our extension out the back. Everything's big and strong before we make contact. So we've won this half meter. Generally, when we're taking a longer kick, we tend to switch things off and our eyes come up really early. As soon as our eyes come up and check for the ball, it's just like when you're vacuuming and someone pulls the cord out of the wall, everything stops, all our energy stops, and all the good things we're trying to create all switches off. So I coach, get through the ball, win that half meter. If we win this half meter and win this half meter, stay down, stay in the kick, finish the kick, finish the job and get through it, then we will have won momentum in the kick. So I've got my 2 half meters set up, so pre-ball and post-ball. When we're watching this kick now, instead of watching the ball flight off the tee, I want you to watch my body get through the ball, stay down, get my foot through the target. I often talk about trying to get your foot to touch the crossbar, so really enjoying that kick, getting through the target, winning both half meters. So let's have a kick now. Nothing's going to change though. All those good things we've already spoken about in the first 4 parts. Stay balanced, stay slow, get your extension. Let's really trust our timing, win this half meter, pass the ball. Stay slow, trust my timing. Now we're going to get into the drills for week 12. We're going to keep things nice and simple. The focus today is the 12 kicks we're going to have off the tee and see how accurate we can be with those 12 kicks. We've got 4 drills we're going to get through. First one's with the soccer ball, working on our drop kicks. You've got 20 of these to prime up. All the drills today is all just with your dominant foot leading into the goal kicking. So first one's just our drop kick. Get on the ball nice and early, nice punch drop kick, good momentum, stay in the kick really well. Whoa. So just got a little hook on that, and that's why we're doing these. Hook the ball a little bit, get my foot up the back a little bit more. That was a better strike. Next up, we go to the rugby ball, so ball drop 1. We've got 10 at each stage. First one's ball drop 1, get that punch behind it, momentum, stay in the kick. 2 hands to 1 hand. Good start there. For the demonstration, we'll go straight to ball drop 2, a little bit more height, stay big and tall, exit kick downfield. Yeah, good strike. And then lastly, ball drop 3, nice and high, up near the top of that net. Now this is week number 12. You should be really confident with how you're striking the ball now. So make sure every time you're kicking the ball this week, you're really confident, you've got a strong body, up at 90%, getting that foot up the back of the ball. If we're really deliberate with our body and we put this ball where we want to put it, the outcome of the kick becomes really positive. Now we're into our goal kicking challenge, best of 12. We're into our 12 kicks. I'm at the starting spot. Now remember, this program is all about you. If you can't make your sideline conversion because you haven't got the distance, maybe not the power yet within your goal kicking, I don't expect you to go out. So make sure your 12 kicks are from a range that you can make and you've got the distance to get a successful kick. I'm going to start off with my very first kick. So again, the challenge here throughout the week, you'll get 3 opportunities to get a score out of 12. So there's no starting again. If you miss your first kick, that's it. You've got to move on to the next spot. Same thing, if you've kicked 0 from 6, get through the 12 kicks. That's the challenge of this whole program, is can you deliver when it counts under pressure. Stay slow, trust my timing. Come back, snuck in that right channel. So 1 from 1, I've got 11 more kicks and we'll see where we get to out of 12. Congratulations team on getting through to week 12. Enjoy this week. I know you're going to really enjoy getting through those 12 kicks. Thank you so much for your support of Rugby Bricks, for the kicking tees, for the brand and what we're trying to do here. I know that if you've got through this 12 weeks, if you've used your journal, if you've used your tee and ticked off all the sessions, I know that you'll have huge confidence in your own goal kicking technique. And that was the aim of the whole program, is that in a game when the pressure comes on, when you've got to make that kick, you can be so confident putting the ball on the tee when you're standing at the back of the mark. Your process, your technique's got so many hours behind it, so many learnings, so many fixes that you can trust it in the big moments. Enjoy week number 12.